Listening to the Money Mike syndicated radio show. We're going to keep you up to date and current in all sports. We'll make sure you're aware of everything in corporate and enterprise business. And most of all, we'll share with you how to make a little more money as we cover the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. WNBA owners losing money? Not so fast, folks. Not so fast. WNBA owners are making millions. They are making millions. In fact, they're making so much money. Caitlin Clark's salary should be somewhere in the neighborhood of $15 to $20 million a year, without a doubt. And walkout, opt out, strike. I think the WN owners have lost all their leverage. We'll talk about that and more today on the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. Folks, I want to tell you the WNBA owners. Yeah, and I know you've been hearing a lot about it. And, when you come into my area or you walk through, and we're going to talk about money and who's making money, the WNBA owners, and how's that going? WNBA owners, and the NBA, and the way the partnership is split up, they're going to make millions of dollars, right? And you follow this because we got to talk about the expansion piece, right? So you got Portland. Portland gets a franchise. They give you the story. They're losing money. However, I mean, let's look at it. You can lose money a lot of ways, folks. And what do I mean? You can lose money a lot of ways, meaning that you could purchase a WNBA franchise, and even though everybody should make somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 to 80,000 a year, maybe 100,000 a year, you pay everybody 300,000 a year. Well, at the end of the year, you're going to be losing money just on your labor load, right? So, or you can go into debt. You can build a stadium you can't fill up, but it'll fill up one day, and you've got debt on the books you got to repay for the stadium, right? So there's a million ways you could put it in and lose money. But when it comes to acquisition fees, now here's where it gets a little bit tricky, okay? Because you got to remember this whole acquisition fees, franchise fees, you almost got to look at it like McDonald's, right? Where you take the first one, okay, that one costs $500. By the time you get to 3,800 or 5,000 franchises, next one's going to cost you 20 million. So who gets that money? The owners. Okay. And if I looked at it, let's say the WNBA goes from 16 teams or 12 teams to where it is today, and it goes up to, let's say, potentially 32 teams. Well, if you reach that, you've already got 15 or 16 in place. You got another 16 to go. Folks, that's $2 billion. If you were able to get in at the $125 that Portland got in, right? So you got to start stacking the deck, because when you add up the franchise fee or the acquisition fee, we got to look at Portland just paid $125 million. You got Golden State just paid, I believe, $55 million. The numbers are coming in, right? So when you start looking, okay, we lost this much money. We can't do that, because you're looking at the wrong number, because to be a member. So what does Cathy Englebert do, right? Because Cathy Englebert's running around and you got an arms race going on, right? What do I mean? You got an arms race. Cathy Englebert is trying to sign as many franchises as she can, and rightfully so. Why? Because TNT announced a surprising 5-year contract. They're going to put out 45 games, right? So, and somewhere in the mix of all this, you got Gino, right? Gino's up in here, UConn, and with Gino's a powerful figure. Okay, he's a powerful figure. He's not happy about the way the WNBA has treated his players, and he's had a whole bunch of them in his coaching career, right? So you got TNT takes away the leverage, right? Because you got a walkout coming, and you got to look at, okay, when they do walk out, folks, understand the difference. When you can't walk out, okay, first of all, because the CBA agreement is there's no strike. So there is no strike you could do. You just refuse to show up, and then the owners lock you out, right? So that's where the deal is, and that's where it's going to fall. But let's get back to the money, because the money is really where it is. And you got TNT says we'll give you a 5-year contract, right? So what do you got? You got, I believe, 2 leagues, right? And let me just walk you through the scenario. You may not agree. Comment, tell me, Mike, you're nuts, whatever. However you want to tell me. I'm just giving you, it's my opinion. But if it turns the truth, I'm giving you the facts before it happened. Okay, with the unrivaled, right? Because I don't think TNT is signing a 5-year contract, okay, to play 3-on-3 basketball. So what do you got? You got two leagues you could form here. And I'm stuck on the two leagues because at the end of the day, if you got WNBA franchise that are moving out of the big arenas back to the small arenas, that cuts their revenue. Why do that? Relocate. Don't be in the same, move in the same city and move down. Move somewhere it's attractive. And that's what I appreciate about Mark Davis. I mean, he saw the opportunity. Al Davis, I'll tell you, he was in Oakland. Well, going over here to I'm gonna go up here to LA. Okay, no, I got another place. Irwindale gave me 10 million. Yep, I'm gonna go. They were in court. Okay, him and Pete Rozelle, the commissioner, right? They're in court because he's like, look, this is my team. I got to make money. I'm the Raiders. We are a brand. Okay, so they had to go and do it. But here was the fight. Yeah, Pete Rozelle was a commissioner. Al was a commissioner of the AFL, the opposite league. That's why the Raiders have been an outcast all along because these two were in court more than they were watching football games. But you had the Raiders going against the commissioner, and here's what happened: they finally settled. The two leagues had to come together. Al was the commissioner, but they backdoored him on the deal, and Pete Rozelle went and made a deal with somebody else. Okay, with Hunt, and it really frustrated Al because he was building something. He got the TV contract, and I'm bringing that back to see WNBA lost leverage when TNT got the TV contract. When they put it up, and maybe they're involved in it. I could tell you this thing is moving both directions, but when you get two leagues, you're going to have one league's going to play the WNBA. You get the goal is 32 teams. Okay, however you get there, right? And you got a free enterprise market in the WABA, which I'll call the Women's American Basketball Association, right? Because what was it called? ABA, American Basketball Association, right? So now you got the WABA that goes against the NBA because that's what the dogfight's about. But that because the league is built, you got to understand this, folks. Because the league is built, now it's paying off. Okay, you got a stock, you held it for 30 years, 28 years. Guess what? It's starting to pay off, right? So, and you get a player like Caitlin Clark. Now, here's where I go with the Caitlin Clark 15 to 20 million. Okay, and here's what a WNBA players, you got to take a second look at this. And I really am an advocate for getting the players paid. I can show you how to make more money. This is the way you make more money because if you can get past these arguments, okay, in this next CBA agreement, you got to get past these arguments that, look, guys, you're going to make over $1 billion on acquisition fees, right? You're going to make $1 billion. So now you're going to give us 76,000 or maybe 300 or 400,000. The WNBA players, each one of them should be getting $1 million, minimum $1 million. Caitlin Clark, because of what she brings, and other players bring the same thing. Las Vegas Aces, right? They bring the same thing. Seattle Storm has stars. All these teams have superstars. You got New York Liberty as the champion. So everywhere you go, New York Liberty going to sell out. Okay, that means that now, okay, not tomorrow, not the next day, because I go to Caitlin Clark and I'm reviewing these things, and they're putting valuations on teams. You got Portland doesn't even have players. Okay, you got Macari's don't even have players, right? But look how the window went from 55 million to 125. Tomorrow it could be 250. Next day it's 500. Look, that's a lot of money of acquisition fees, okay, that go to the WNBA, right? But really, does it go to WNBA? No, because they have partners. Okay, they got partners. So now you got this money that's coming in. And look at all the cities. Toronto, they got to pay an acquisition fee. So you get these acquisition fees, and that's where the players have got to look at it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We forget about the last 25. You're going to make all your money back, right? So, and here's where I go with Cathy Englebert, right? Cathy Englebert comes in there and says, hey, you know what? Here's the deal. Cathy Englebert comes in here and says, I gave away 16%. 16% is what I gave away. Okay, so you gotta ask yourself that. How much is that 16% going to grow from 75 million? Okay, you get into $2 billion, you get into contracts, this thing goes on for the next 10 years. That 16% can cost you $1 billion. Okay, $1 billion. And you're talking about people that know how to make money. All right. You got the CEO, the partners. The NBA knows how to make money. Okay. People are all over the NBA for money. The stars, talent, the social media, any way you want to take it, they're there to make money. Right. And those guys know how to make money. So you got Nike. You got to look at it. Okay. Adam Silver knows how to make money, and Elliott knows how to make money. Nike knows how to make money. Okay, and this is where the WNBA and the players got to become partners. And really, you got to do skip level meetings. You might as well meet with the CEOs because at the end of the day, Robert Agnew, Robert Agnew knows how to make money, right? These guys, that's their job. They've got an accountability to shareholders. You get over here to Jeff Bezos and Amazon. Okay, let's be honest. Does Jeff Bezos know how to make money? If Jeff Bezos, Amazon came in and said, let me take over the WNBA and let me make this place a $1 billion business, Bezos knows how to do it. All of these guys, I'm naming off. You got John Stanky over there at AT&T. He knows how to make money. That's what these guys do. That's their specialty, is to get together and have a meeting. Folks, I'll tell you, for me, I mean, it was a blessing for me. I mean, with AT&T, I learned something how to run the world. I had an opportunity to go to President Club, the Diamond Club, 2 years. So you get a chance to be in the room with the top brass of the company, right? You're in there, and so here's a conversation me and John Stanky would have, right? He'd be like, Mike, how's things going over in the WNBA? I'd say, well, you know what? They've got really something really good but the forecasting and out's going to be a little tough. And then again, you could have labor involvement, and where is that going to go? And then the next question, okay, so they'll ask me, what's our position, Mike? What does it look like? For us, I'd say, hey, you know what? If the build out goes the way I forecasted, I can tell you this, we're probably going to build out in about another 18 states, and we probably got some backfill, some secondary leagues that we could backfill as well. So what does it turn into? An opportunity. What does AT&T want? AT&T wants to do the infrastructure, right? So when you get there, okay, what do we got to do to move forward? Well, you know what? They got a lot of silos. They got a lot of silos over there in the WNBA. And if they could neutralize that, I mean, it's the efficiency of communication. Really, John, what's the left hand doing that the right hand doesn't know? What's the right hand doing that the left hand's doing? Well, and finally, for client image, John, I tell you, the number one thing they can clean up, the officiating. I mean that one there is starting to get involved in the integrity of the game, and we want to try to clean that up because as AT&T, John, everything we do, integrity means a lot. And folks, that would be the conversation that I would have with the CEO, because you got to march down and you got to look at, what are we trying to do? Do we have a path? Have we had a discovery meeting? Have we come back to the table with mutual solutions? I'm speaking of the CBA and the WNBA, because the WNBA has no leverage. They have no leverage at all here. And the sad part about it, when I get right into it, and the partners and everything, they know it. These valuations, okay, that are being given out, and that's why the owners are making millions off the franchise fees. These are based off of players. These are based off of players. That's how they come up with a valuation for the team. If the players don't play, you could take a league that could be worth billions and drop it down to zero. You can't play basketball without the players, and the players have to demand the amount of money they want. The owners are making millions. You can forget about that. Anybody in America, okay, if you know they're going to make $2 billion in acquisition fees, could be more, right? So this 16% that Cathy Englebert gave away for $75 million, that's like 75 cents. These guys are going to make $1 million off of the 75 cents. Because at the end of the day, here's what you have to know, and you got to understand that you get to the CEOs that do. These guys are in the business of making money. Okay, they each one has shareholders. Each one is out there, and the shareholders, they have a duty and responsibility. And for the WNBA players, you got to pick a side, right? Because WNBA players, with the partners and the client image and the alignment, and you look at revenue, expenses, and client image, those are the first three every CEO worry at that. And if I can find your efficiency, I could probably improve your client image, right? But you got to go directly, because these guys have got an investment made. They're put money on the line. They want the ROI, return on investment, and they want to scale. They want to scale this thing right, but they got to have the right owners. And the right owners coming in. There's a lot of money out there. But as I told you earlier, the NBA, okay, the NBA, these owners have been in there a while. They know how to make money too. Okay, James Dolan with the Knicks. He's calling Adam Silver, where's my money? Right? Because he's sitting in front of it and he's going, man, look, I'm watching you make money. I know how much money you bring it in. That's why Dolan, he's like, you got to start cutting checks. Okay. And Adam Silver's trying to say, hold on, Dolan, hold on. Let's keep this thing hush hush, right? But he can't say hush hush because at the end of the day, you're about to make $1 billion just on acquisition fees, right? So what are you going to do? Okay, they're making money. We know the acquisition is going to go over $1 billion. We know that for a fact, right? Without a doubt, Kalen's salary, that's 15, 20 million. These other guys should be making 5, 10, 15 million because when you add up this acquisition fee and all the current revenue, I understand you were in a very, very, very okay, what you'd call a position of no return in the WNBA. Okay, you're in an insolvent position. You were not able to generate revenue. Okay, but the amount of revenue today, okay, that's where I'm going with the Sacramento Monarchs. I'm looking, this is what gets me. Okay, here's where money comes in, right? So you got the Sacramento Monarchs. Okay, we're in Sacramento drawing a crowd of 8,000 plus fans, right? This is going way back, 10, 15 years ago. It's going way back, right? But you got people moving into 5,000 seat arenas in the WNBA because they can't draw fans. And I got all thousands of fans. And I don't know what's going on because I'm seeing Shaq, I'm seeing some Kings move. I mean, why would the Sacramento Kings? This one I got to cover, folks. And here's what I talk about. These guys know how to make money. Why would the Sacramento Kings be invested in a Toronto organization when we want an organization here? I'll cover that for you because I want to know the truth on why. Because I'm telling you, these guys owners are going to make a lot of money, right? But TNT, you better, this walkout, I guarantee you this, you can't walk out. You got to lock them out. No strike clause in the CBA. What's going to happen is these players, when they go away, you got TNT sitting there. We might as well just play basketball, right? Because we were going to play 3-on-3, but the players are locked out. Okay, so this thing is going to get ugly, 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 and fast. 2 leagues, absolutely, 2 leagues are going to pop up and make this thing work because the WNBA can't move fast enough, and they got to have the owners. But if you start the women's, which was the old ABA. And you remember that ABA because David Stern had to put a stop to it because the Indiana, there was foresight. 4 ABA teams were given TV contract back to the old ABA owners. The league got too big. They had to do a buyout. They need to buy out whatever step out or whatever you're getting, your acquisition fees, your percentage of acquisition fees. Here's the deal. You get $1 billion, you get 100 million. Now that should be 500 million. Okay, it doesn't matter how they make money because right now they're going to make a boatload of money as they continue adding teams. So Cathy Englebert is selling teams like she's selling cars, right? You going out there, what do you want, a Mercedes-Benz? You want a BMW? Pick one. You want a Ferrari? I got one in the back, right? Because at the end of the day, right now, the money grab is getting the acquisition fees. Okay, so that's where you got it. 2 leagues gets us to 32. And, the WNBA player, you got to partner with the CEOs. You got to sit down with the CEOs, and you got to have a conversation because these guys got vision. Everyone, it doesn't matter. Okay, Adam Silver, if it's Elliott at Nike, okay, you got Bezos at Amazon, you got Ira Denny, you got Stanky, and then you got the president and the WNBA players. You guys got to sit down and have a partnership. I mean, you build a partnership where you look, we're looking for 50-50 revenue. That's it. Okay, that's the bargain. If you sit down with them, however you want to look at it, because they'll hide out in the back. It's 50-50. Don't call us till it's 50-50. That's it, period. All right, because too much money's hitting the deck. James Dolan let the cat out of that. He's like, Adam, I ain't got a dime. And you're making all this money, Adam. And now you're not giving anything back. Where's the money going? So it's going to have to be figured out. I'll tell you this. Life is not fair. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We are powered up by fanatics. We are getting going, and we are excited. Sacramento Kings getting ready to kick this thing in. I think the Kings are going to be in the top 3 moving forward this year in the NBA. But The WNBA is making money. Okay, the NBA owners know how to make money. The WNBA knows how to make money too. And the WNBA is going to be caught in a bad spot because TNT, that's all you needed was a TV contract. I mean, no matter what, you could have all the WNBA. TNT say, we'll take everything else. And if you're locked out, we're playing. So we're going to make money regardless, right? So you figure it out. But all things are possible to those who believe. Listening to the Money Mike syndicated radio show. We're going to keep you up to date and current in all sports. We'll make sure you're aware of everything in corporate and enterprise business. And most of all, we'll share with you how to make a little more money as we cover the NBA, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. The interesting deal. So the acquisition fee came from Sacramento, which we could have had, and he sent it to Toronto. That's shocking. I'll cover that one for you soon.